Thank you, Dr. Ryan, and congratulations on your presidency here. We're looking forward to great things from you, so thank you. Well, look at you guys out there. You're all in your fancy dresses and your not so cool hats, but I got one of those too. So you're all dressed up, and you dress like this for your last 8 o'clock class. Is that pretty cool? It's my last 8 o'clock class too. However, most employers expect you to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning, so that doesn't go away. And Dr. Heyer asked me to do this address. He kind of suggested that I make this kind of the last lecture for you folks, that it is kind of your last lecture. Some of you may be going on, but for me, it's also my last lecture. Then I asked him, can I have PowerPoint? Yeah, I've been in academia for 30 years, and I'm kind of feeling a little naked without a PowerPoint to sit here and do this with. He said, no. Well, then I said, okay, how much time do I got? He said, 5 to 10 minutes. Then I reminded him at that point, I'm pre-programmed for 50 minutes with PowerPoint. Kenny said, no. Where's the love, man? So here I am. I stand before you after 14 years at Chadron State College. And to paraphrase John Muir, the mountains are calling, and I must return. So I will be returning to Wyoming. So graduates, parents, family, significant others, friends, fellow faculty and staff members, administration, members of the board, and mentors, good morning, welcome, buenos dias, bienvenidos, dobre den, moi vitanya, namaste, swagatam. When preparing this talk, I struggled, as most of you guys have, writing papers, writing talks. I see some of my students out there. I know they've struggled with this. I too struggled with it. I consulted my lovely bride of 30 years, Doreen. I asked my son, Austin, also known as tech support to me. And he's got to the point now where I call him up and, hey, tech support, look it up yourself, Dad. Thanks, son. And several former graduate speakers, how to pull my thoughts together. I got some ideas, but then I had the opportunity last Saturday to be out working with Lucinda Mays, our horticulturist, on the planting in front of Burkheiser. And we were kind of ruminating this, and she just looked at me and says, Chuck, stewardship. So stewardship it is, with a few other random things thrown in. Stewardship is an ethic that embodies responsibility in planning and management. And generally we apply this to natural resources. But you guys are resources. And we've been managing you guys over years. You are resources. And soon you will be going on to manage your own resources. So that is important out there. A couple of weeks ago, the head of the Nebraska Grazing Land Coalition stopped by my office to tell me goodbye. While we were talking, he asked me, how many lives have you touched over the past 25 years? Like, wow, I need to think on that. 11 years at the University of Nebraska, 14 years at Chadron State College, many, many, many clubs, many range camps, many envirothons, 4-H, FFA events, ACE camps. And now I go to those, activities and I look out there and I see the people that I've touched. They're out there doing that now. They're contributing back. They're doing things out there. That's a lot of lives. That's an awful lot of lives. I hope I've been a good steward. But rather than a steward, I prefer to consider it passing the torch. Several of my students have heard this talk. I hope in working with all these students and all these lives out there, passing on knowledge, passing on skills, I've passed the torch, my skills to you guys. That's what I've done. Simply standing in front of a room, lecturing, making students read the book when you ask a question, and then take an exam is not passing the torch. Working with students, helping them understand, helping them learn to think, helping them use the tools that we give them, helping them realize their career goals, and watching them pass this on to others. That is passing the torch. That is what's important. So as you go forth, I'd encourage you to make a difference. Touch lives, not just your own, touch others. This is a we project. This is not a me project. This is a we project. There's a lot of people out there. Now, while I counted all the lives that I've touched, best I could think of, I did not change their lives. One person does not define a program. Many others have been involved. Think back to all those special people that have touched your lives, made a difference in your lives, both good and bad. That's all part of the process. They've all made a difference. They've made your life a little bit better. So I'd ask of you that wherever you guys go, you go there and you leave things just a little bit better than when you got there. When I arrived here at Chadron State College 14 years ago, there were 32 students in the range program. We're now at about 120. We have steel going up in the air over here in the new Rangeland Center. We have a rangeland wildlife program out there now. We have a new professor. We have an unrivaled wildlife teaching collection out there. We have several interdisciplinary studies and natural resources out there. And we are the second largest range program in the United States. Have these been me projects? No. I'm just part of a team. But I think I'm leaving this, in the hands of a really good team out there, and hopefully it's a little better than when I got here. You guys can do this too. Have courage. Courage comes in many different flavors. Last September, Mother Nature decided to reset the clock on the Pine Ridge Escarpment. Several of us were out there. We were looking at 100-foot walls of flames coming at us, burning pine cones being thrown at us. That takes courage. But when you really stop to think of that, that's one form of courage. Look at our international students. Think what it takes to go from your country, your culture, your language, your food, your customs, and walk away and come here. That is courage. That is true courage. How many of you have been put in a situation where you and your values have been soundly trashed? If you haven't been, you will be. What you do there is you come back, you have your head held high, you step back in that ring and say, yes, I took one on the chin, but I have not been defeated. I tried to make a difference. That takes courage. So stand up and do those things. Have courage to face change. Those who fail to embrace change are destined to be defeated by it. My students are probably tired of hearing that statement, but it's true. These are changing times, and the pace of this is incredible. I was talking to somebody the other day about what I used to consider to be a laptop. K-Pros, they were about this. They were luggables, 40 pounds. The first laptop. You didn't hold in your lap very long, but, it was a laptop. So things are changing quickly. We must keep learning. We must do this to survive. So here you all are, your second, third, fourth, maybe even fifth degree in hand. Are you educated to survive? No. To quote James Lair from the McNeil-Lair Report, a college diploma does not mean that you're educated. Quite the contrary. It means that you have just opened up to a perpetual state of ignorance, and thus a lifelong hunger for more. More ideas, more knowledge, more good thoughts, more challenges, more of everything. He goes on and talks about some of the dumbest people I know went to great prestigious colleges and universities. They walked across the stage, took a diploma in their hot little hand, and pronounced themselves well-educated, proceeded to never read another book, entertain another fresh idea, or tax their minds in any way beyond the minimum limit required to make a living or make it socially, or both. Don't be this guy. Come on. Go out there. Keep learning all the way through. So, honor the people that got you here today. Remember, it's the journey, not the destination. Never quit learning. Face change. Be courageous. Pass the torch. Pass the torch. Be good stewards. Be good stewards of life. Make a difference and leave things just a little bit better than when you got there. Carve out a place for yourself. It's okay to be a little off the wall and have edges. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Be the rainbow to that spatial friend in the storms of life. Wear your damn seatbelt. Be magnificent. Dr. Ryan, Dr. Snare, let's put some hoods on these guys.